Today on my school day I've got Kobe and I've got Barney, Aqua Barney. Alright, so just these two to work with this morning. I've left all my boys at home. So I'll start with Barney. So he's great. Started working with him last year when he was very reactive on the lead towards other dogs, to the point where a few other behaviourists thought he was aggressive and he should be muzzled. It wasn't the case at all. The poor guy just didn't know what to do. He was a rescue over from Ireland. He had not socialised or experienced anything. So he didn't know what to do. There was nothing aggressive about him. So we worked through all of that. Anyone that's familiar with Aqua Barney already knows these details, so I'll just run through it quickly. Then he went through his phase of loving the water and not coming out of it. So we worked through that, where we actually now have quite a good recall when he's in the water, and we can even stop him from going in as well, giving him the ch command and no, so we can actually stop him going in. So that's pretty good, because at one point he was in the water, I think, for nearly an hour when his owners were at the seaside, and they were just stood on the beach trying to get him out, couldn't get him out of the sea. We don't have that problem now. Every now and then he does revert back a little bit, only when he's on the lead and he sees another dog. He may bark or he may pull towards them. It's just kind of a bit of an ingrained thing with him, and we just work through it. You just keep that learned conditioning going, and it all gets less and less. But interestingly, when this kind of little relapse happened, the owners had recently lost their cat. This way, to old age, bless him. He was a good age, and obviously there was a lot of sadness and emotion in the house that was unusual. This way, and Kobe. So Kobe still gets a little bit full on, but he does take direction with it, so I'm okay with that. No. 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 Yeah, he's not too bad with it, and he does take direction. That's okay. Going back to Barney. So there was, it's behind me. So there was a fair bit of unusual emotion in the household, and any emotion to an animal is a weakness. And Barney had picked up on that, so he'd started to assess incorrectly, but the body language and the emotions had interpreted to Barney that his owners, for some reason, were weak. They'd gone weak. He needed to take over again, and that's why he started to get reactive again on the lead, because he thought he'd got to make the decisions again, and the responsibility of that a bit too much for him. So anyway, we made a few adjustments to the body language and the routine within the house, and they report back he's good as gold again. So we're all back on track with him. The only thing Barney does do, and he's always done it, he goes quite a good distance away when he's off lead. He's not running off, he's not going to run off, but he kind of gets in his own little adventure. He's picking up all the scent, you know, from all the other dogs, other animals, and he's having a great time. Not necessarily taking much notice of where you are. He knows where you are, but we'd like him to just be a little bit more in tune and a little bit more responsive. So today, running. Well, I'm not running, I'm jogging. Not right at the minute, because I've had to get my breath back so I can talk to you. But yeah, I've upped the pace. So I've upped the pace so that when he is sniffing and exploring, and at a walking pace he would expect me to be at a certain distance away, I'm going to be a bit further away because I'm jogging. So by upping the pace, being a little bit more unpredictable, changing that routine just that little bit, it's going to get him just paying a bit more attention to me, and he'll then start to learn to pay more attention to the handler and not just go off in his own little world. So we're just encouraging a little bit more of a rapport by upping the pace. Also, by upping the pace, it makes it more interesting for the dogs. When a dog is moving at a very fast pace, I say this to everybody, it's predator or prey related. That's their natural instinct. So whenever they see anybody moving fast on a bike or running, jogging, etc., if they're moving at a fast pace, the dog wants to know why. Natural instinct says, okay, alert, what's wrong? So by upping the pace, you will put the dog into a slightly heightened state of mind. So if you're working on a calm, responsive sort of issue, you get to a certain level, everything's going great, let's up the pace, let's put it to the challenge, let's push it a little bit more, and keep on with that learned conditioning. So that's another reason for upping the pace. So then we come to Kobe, just so you know, Barney's there. So then we come to Kobe. So Kobe, again, I started working with him last year, and I think he was about 10 months old, 9-10 months old when I first started working with him. And he was just full on. He was full of the joys of life, overzealous, over eager, and so damn big and strong that he was difficult to hold. Lead work, really, really strong. So we worked on all that, we were doing great. And then again, anybody who's familiar with Kobe, with my my little clips of him, will know that his testosterone kicked in, and it kicked in a big way with him, which it does sometimes. It doesn't matter necessarily what breed of dog it is, the testosterone can vary. Sometimes it doesn't make any difference, sometimes it makes a huge difference. Well, it did with Kobe. It made him anxious, it made him tense, it made him unresponsive. Basically, the poor guy, he just could not concentrate or focus on anything. This drive, this intense anxiousness, and it was just awful for him. It was awful to see. And so yeah, the whole training, it didn't necessarily I'll tell you what, we'll go down this way. His the training that we've done in his behaviour and the progress on the lead and his socialisation, all of that kind of went to pot. He was jumping on the back of dogs, he was being very dominant to the point of creating a standoffish a standoff situation with Roscoe, which Roscoe is unreactive. But Roscoe in the end was saying, you've got to back off, and Roscoe was being quite firm about it. Poor old Kobe, he could not take that direction, and that's where it was dangerous. He was going to end up in a fight. So I eased off seeing him for a while. He had his little op, had a month to get over that, get it all out of his system, started working with him again. And each week that I have him, he's getting better and better and better. Okay, so as you can see with Barney, every now and then he does get a little bit pushy, but nothing that is anything to be concerned about. He's good to take the direction. I give him the checks, I give him the ch sound, and he responds to that. So just going to roll past here. Shh, hey, go on. There we go. So that's all great. Really happy with that. His lead work, he can still be a little bit strong, but that's because he's eager, and he is still very, very young mentally. He's 14 months, so mentally he's still a baby, and the world is a wonderful place. It always has been for Kobe. So this way. So I'm still doing lead work with him today. I've tested him out with Frank, with the speed. You know, I mentioned earlier about when dogs are running at speed, it normally alerts their natural instinct to say, look, there's something wrong, investigate, and it will put them into a heightened state. So putting him with Frank, who is just speed personified, and also with Frank, plays very, very rough. So if it's gonna, if there's any sort of underlying dominance still there with Kobe, it would have brought it out, and it didn't. Plays rough, and that was it. Again, he responded well to direction, even at a fast running pace and play. So that was great last week. So I'm happy with all of that, with the socialisation part. So today he's with Barney. Barney doesn't play, so he's given Kobe a very blank response each time Kobe tries to instigate play, which is good. That's what we want, because I need Kobe to learn that not every dog wants to play, and you need to back off when you're told. So Barney gives him the blank, unresponsive behaviour to let Kobe know that's not what I want. I then step in with Barney, giving the ch, no, and that basically works, and Kobe's learning that, okay, I just run alongside, we don't necessarily run at each other and play. So that's all good. The other thing is, yes, I'm doing the jogging with him, so I am putting him into a slightly heightened state to what he would normally be if I'm walking. Again, I'm trying to push him to see if there's any underlying issues and address those as they come up. At the moment, there's been nothing. He's just loving it. He doesn't quite understand why we're moving at this faster pace. A few times he's run alongside me. He originally, when we first started to run, he did run with Barney and nudge him quite a few times, wanting to play, give him the check, and he realised then, yes, I'm running, yes, we're moving at a slightly faster pace, but it doesn't mean we change our behaviour. So that's what I'm instilling in Kobe today. A bit of a long-winded one this morning, but I'm giving you the update on the both of them. So I'm going to carry on with that. In between this off-lead stuff, I'm also popping them on the lead individually, and just doing that lead work with them. So I'm giving them the structured walk, so they're free, then they're on the lead with me and they're using their mind, then they're free, back on the lead using their mind. So it's all stimulation, mental and physical, and that's the nature of the walk this morning with these two. Okay, that's it. See you later.